Hey there, I hope you're doing well. Let's get real for a second. A lot of the organizing tips we see online actually make things harder, not easier. I used to think that if I just bought more bins, more trays, and more labels, my house would magically stay organized. But all that did was add more clutter and stress. It wasn't just the house that felt messy, my mind felt cluttered too. Over the years, I've tried a ton of methods, but the real game changers for me were the simple, no-pressure changes that made a huge difference. These aren't perfect Pinterest-style solutions, just practical real-life tips that have actually worked for me. And today, I'm sharing 12 of those tips with you. No complicated systems, just easy, realistic steps you can start using today. The first one: I haven't folded pajamas in 15 years, and I can promise you laundry has never piled up since. Let's start with something simple. Don't try to do everything at once. When you think about decluttering the whole house, it can feel like there's too much to do, and you end up feeling overwhelmed and giving up. So why not start with just one small area that you can easily manage? I've been there thinking that if I just tackled the whole house, everything would fall into place, but in reality, it only left me more frustrated. Instead, I decided to focus on one small area at a time. I started with my bedroom dresser. It was always a catch-all for random items, books, accessories, and old receipts. I knew I had to tackle it, but the thought of it felt exhausting. So I made it simple. Every Sunday evening, I spend just 10 minutes clearing it off. It's a small commitment, but seeing that clear surface at the start of each week makes the entire room feel calmer. The beauty of this method is that once you've cleared one area, it's easier to move on to the next. It's no longer an overwhelming task, just a series of small, manageable steps that add up to a bigger result. It's about giving yourself permission to take it one thing at a time without pressure. And don't worry, I'll continue sharing more decluttering tips with you tomorrow, so stay tuned. These small habits build up, and tomorrow I'll share with you how to make decluttering a daily ritual, because when it's part of your routine, it doesn't feel so overwhelming. Now let's move on to the next idea: how to make decluttering a daily habit. Next is turning decluttering into a tiny daily habit. You know what happens when you let clutter pile up, right? It feels like it's never ending. And before you know it, that small mess turns into a major project that feels impossible to tackle. It starts with one dish on the counter, then a few stray shoes by the door, and before long, you're surrounded by chaos. Instead of waiting for your home to become overwhelming, try making decluttering a part of your daily routine. Even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes a day, it'll add up over time. Start by setting a specific time each day to spend a few minutes tidying up. For example, I've started taking 10 minutes each morning after breakfast to quickly clear up any mess in the kitchen. It's not a huge task, but it sets the tone for the rest of the day. I find that when I do this, it makes the whole day feel lighter, and the clutter doesn't have a chance to take over. Creating this daily habit helps you avoid that overwhelming sense of having to deep clean everything. When you tackle it a little bit every day, it's much more manageable and doesn't feel like an all-day affair. Plus, it gives you a sense of accomplishment every day instead of procrastinating and letting it pile up. It's these little actions that build momentum. Over time, you'll find that keeping your space clean doesn't take as much effort. And when you get used to this habit, it'll feel like second nature, no more stress about clutter creeping in. You'll start to feel more in control and your home will feel calmer. It's incredible how a few minutes each day can create such a huge impact on your mental space. Then comes a reminder: don't buy more bins than you need. It's tempting, I know. We all think that if we just buy one more bin or fancy storage system, everything will magically be organized. But here's the thing: buying more storage doesn't solve the root problem, it just hides it. Before you know it, you've got a mountain of bins and you're still tripping over shoes by the door. Instead of focusing on buying more bins, focus on what you actually need to keep. Take a good look at the things you own and ask yourself, do I actually use this? If not, it's time to let it go. And I promise that random stack of holiday napkins from 5 years ago probably doesn't need to stay just in case. For instance, I used to buy storage containers for everything. I had bins for shoes, bins for books, bins for extra blankets, you name it. It felt like I was collecting bins more than I was actually organizing. But over time I realized the more bins I had, the more cluttered my home felt. Now I only keep what I truly use and need, and everything else gets donated or recycled. Focusing on the stuff rather than the storage makes decluttering feel more like a lifestyle shift. When you get rid of excess, you'll find that you don't need so many bins to keep things organized. Your space will feel more open, and you'll feel lighter without the burden of stuff. By focusing on less, not more, you're actually creating a more sustainable and manageable environment. The less you own, the less you need to store, and the more peaceful your home will feel. Plus, you'll have fewer bins to step over, which, let's be honest, is the real win here. After that, give everything in your home a real place to live. You ever look around and wonder, where did all this stuff come from? It's like one day everything was organized and the next your counters are full, your closets are stuffed and you can't find your keys. Trust me, I've been there. The solution isn't always more storage bins or rearranging everything. It's about giving each item in your home a real home. And no, I'm not talking about that random drawer where you throw things for now. That drawer is just a ticking time bomb of chaos. Start by designating a specific place for everything you use regularly. For example, I used to leave my keys on the kitchen counter, my phone charger on the couch, and my purse on the entry table. It was a mess. Now I have a small bowl for keys by the door, a charging station on the counter, and a hook for my purse. They all have a place to go, so I never find myself scrambling to find them. When you create a home for everything, it's easy to put things back where they belong. No more piles of random stuff just waiting to be sorted. Plus, when you know exactly where things go, it takes seconds to tidy up instead of hours. You'll notice how much easier it is to keep your space organized when it's clear where everything belongs. It might sound simple, but it's amazing how much more organized your home will feel when everything has its own spot. You won't have to ask yourself, where did I put that thing ever again? And the best part, your space will feel calmer, and you won't waste time looking for things. Keep going with letting go of things you never use, even the pricey ones. We've all been there holding on to things because we paid a lot of money for them. Maybe it's a fancy kitchen gadget you used once, or a pair of shoes that looked great in the store but never quite fit right. The guilt of wasting money keeps you holding on even when you know deep down you're never going to use them. Here's the thing, it's okay to let go. If something isn't serving you, it's just taking up space. For example, I once had a blender I paid a good amount of money for, but I used it maybe once every few months. It took up a whole shelf in my kitchen, but every time I looked at it, I felt guilty about not using it. Finally, I donated it, and I don't miss it at all. Sometimes we hold on to things because we think we should use them or because they were a splurge. But in the end, keeping them around only adds to the clutter. Letting go of things that don't serve you will free up space both physically and mentally. I've also realized that when we hold on to things just because they were expensive, we're giving them more power than they deserve. The money is already spent. It's not coming back. What matters is how you feel now. You'll feel so much lighter and freer once you let go of the guilt and release the things that no longer bring value to your life. I promise once you start shedding those items you've been holding on to out of guilt or habit, your space will feel lighter. Plus, you'll stop feeling overwhelmed by things that no longer add value to your life. You might even realize that getting rid of them feels like a weight lifted off your shoulders. Don't let the idea of wasting money keep you stuck in clutter. Moving on to clearing your flat surfaces before they fill up again. We all know how clutter seems to collect on flat surfaces. A clear countertop or desk is like an open invitation for stuff to pile up. And before you know it, your once tidy space is now a catch-all for everything that doesn't have a home. The key to maintaining clean spaces is to make a habit of clearing flat surfaces daily. Whether it's the kitchen counter, your coffee table, or your desk, Take a few minutes each day to remove unnecessary items. It doesn't have to be a huge task. Just pick up the things that have piled up over the day and put them where they belong. For example, I always make it a point to clear my kitchen counters after every meal. I put away any dishes, wipe down the surfaces, and tidy up any stray items. It's amazing how much more spacious and calm the kitchen feels when it's free of clutter. Plus, it makes cooking and cleaning up afterwards so much easier. This simple habit of keeping flat surfaces clear is a game changer. It doesn't take much time, but it has a huge impact on how your space feels. When your surfaces are clear, your home automatically looks more organized, and the clutter doesn't have a chance to pile up and overwhelm you. It's about keeping that fresh feeling throughout the day, instead of letting things build up until it's too much to handle. You'll be amazed at how much more relaxed you feel when your home is consistently tidy, even if it's just those small areas. Tip 7 is making decluttering something you do regularly, not rarely. Have you ever felt like no matter how much you clean your house, still feels cluttered? That's because cleaning and decluttering aren't the same thing. You might be wiping down surfaces and vacuuming, but if you're not regularly getting rid of things you don't need, the clutter just keeps piling up. The trick is to make decluttering part of your regular routine, not just something you do when things get out of control. Spend 10-15 minutes a week going through areas where things tend to build up: the closet, the bathroom drawers, or the kitchen counter. You don't need to do it all in one go, just pick one spot to focus on each time. For instance, every Sunday I go through my kitchen drawers. It takes only 10 minutes, but it keeps the space from becoming a chaotic mess of utensils, receipts, and random odds and ends. I throw away expired coupons, organize utensils, and donate anything I no longer use. By making decluttering a routine, it becomes much easier to stay on top of things. Instead of waiting for a big cleaning session or feeling overwhelmed, a quick 10-minute session each week keeps everything in check. It's a simple but effective way to prevent the clutter from taking over your home. This regular decluttering habit not only makes your space feel more organized, but also gives you a sense of accomplishment. Plus, it's much less stressful to do it in small, manageable chunks than to leave it until it's an enormous task. When you make decluttering part of your weekly routine, it almost becomes second nature, and you'll find yourself constantly maintaining a clean and peaceful environment without feeling overwhelmed. Then there's this mindset shift: stop waiting for the perfect moment. How often have you told yourself, "I'll do it when I have more time"? The truth is, waiting for the perfect moment to declutter is just another form of procrastination. Life is always busy, and there will never be a time when everything is perfect. But that doesn't mean you can't make progress. The key is to stop waiting for the ideal moment and start where you are. Take advantage of the small windows of time you have. You don't need to block off hours to declutter. Even 10 or 15 minutes here and there can make a huge difference over time. For example, if you have a free 10 minutes while your coffee is brewing, or before dinner, tackle one small task like clearing the mail off the counter or organizing a drawer. I've found that doing little bits of decluttering throughout the day is far more effective than waiting for a large chunk of free time that may never come. By making decluttering a quick and easy part of your day, you're removing the stress of finding time and instead focusing on small tasks that add up. The longer you wait, the more clutter accumulates. So start now, even if it's just for a few minutes. Over time, you'll notice that the small actions you take daily prevent clutter from building up, and your home will feel much more organized without the need for hours of work. You'll realize that there's no perfect time, only the present moment, and that's enough. Almost there, create a simple system for everything that comes into your home. How many times have you walked into your home with bags of things only to leave them sitting by the door? New items come into our homes constantly, whether it's groceries, packages, or random items from work or school. If you don't have a system for dealing with these things, they can quickly turn into a pile of clutter. The solution is simple. Create a system for dealing with incoming items. This doesn't have to be complicated. Just have a designated spot for things as they come in. For example, I've set up a small area near the door where I drop my keys, my mail, and anything else that needs to be dealt with. I don't let things sit around for more than a day. The moment I walk in, I sort the mail, put away groceries, and deal with anything that's been delivered. This simple action of putting things away immediately prevents clutter from building up. You won't have random piles of things that get pushed aside and forgotten. Instead, your home will stay organized because you've already dealt with the new clutter as it arrives. The key here is consistency. If you can train yourself to always deal with incoming items right away, it will become second nature. You'll find that your space stays cleaner, and you won't feel as overwhelmed by the constant flow of stuff. Plus, you won't have to deal with those big piles of accumulated clutter later. Everything will already have a place. Next up is setting boundaries so your stuff never overflows again. Ever find yourself surrounded by things you didn't even realize you had? It's easy for things to accumulate, especially when there's no limit to what we keep. Over time, these items pile up and suddenly you've got way more than you actually need or use. Setting clear boundaries for your possessions can help prevent this from happening. Start by defining what's acceptable to keep in certain spaces. For example, I've set a rule for my closet. I only keep clothes that I actually wear, and I limit myself to a specific number of hangers. If I buy something new, I have to get rid of an old item. This simple boundary has helped me keep my closet organized and prevents it from becoming overcrowded. For other areas in your home, decide how much of a particular item you want to keep. Maybe it's books, toys, or kitchen gadgets. Setting a limit on how much you can own helps prevent things from piling up. When you know you can't just keep adding to a space, you'll be more mindful about what you bring in. The key is being firm with your boundaries and regularly assessing what's actually adding value to your life. When you set clear limits, it's easier to declutter regularly and keep your space organized. Having these boundaries also prevents the overwhelming feeling of having too many things. You'll feel lighter and more in control of your space when you know exactly what belongs there. Plus, it'll save you time and energy by not having to go through piles of excess stuff every few months. Tip 11 is dealing with paperwork the moment it arrives. How many times have you found a pile of paperwork you keep meaning to deal with but never get around to? Whether it's bills, school notices, or old magazines, paper clutter can build up fast. If you let it sit, it'll just keep growing until it feels overwhelming. The key is to deal with paperwork as soon as it comes in. This doesn't mean spending hours sorting through it all at once. Instead, try to make it a habit to go through the mail or papers as soon as you receive them. Throw away junk mail immediately and set aside things that require action. You'd be surprised at how much less clutter you have when you tackle paper as it arrives. For instance, every evening after dinner, I go through the day's mail. I recycle anything unnecessary and put the bills or important papers in one folder. This process only takes about 5 minutes, but it keeps paper clutter from taking over. By sorting through papers right away, you avoid that pileup that eventually becomes a huge task to go through. Getting rid of paper clutter not only makes your home look more organized, but also helps you stay on top of bills and important documents. Plus, it's so much easier to maintain an organized space when you don't let paperwork pile up into mountains. Another trick I use is keeping a to-do folder for anything I need to follow up on. This way I never forget an important task, and everything stays in one place ready to go when I need it. And finally, use a quick timer session to declutter without stress. Have you ever thought to yourself, I don't have time to declutter? We all lead busy lives and it can feel like there's never enough time to keep everything tidy. But the truth is, you don't need hours to declutter. Just a few minutes here and there can make a huge difference. One of my favorite tricks is setting a timer for quick decluttering sessions. I set the timer for 10, 15, or 20 minutes and commit to cleaning up as much as I can in that time. It's amazing how much you can get done in such a short period when you're focused. Whether it's clearing off the kitchen counter, tidying up your desk, or going through a pile of papers, those short bursts of effort add up. I often do this when I'm waiting for dinner to cook or when I have a few minutes between tasks. By setting a timer, I create a sense of urgency, and before I know it, the clutter is gone. It's also much easier to tackle smaller areas, rather than feeling overwhelmed by the thought of doing everything at once. You'll be amazed at how much you can accomplish in just a short amount of time. This technique not only makes decluttering feel manageable, but also keeps it from becoming a huge chore. You're not spending hours on end trying to tidy up. Instead, you're making steady progress in bite-sized chunks. The best part: you'll often feel so accomplished after just a few minutes that you'll want to keep going. It's a great way to maintain an organized home without needing a huge time commitment. And as a bonus, when you make decluttering a habit in small doses, it won't feel like an overwhelming task anymore. You'll notice your home stays consistently tidy, and you'll avoid those dreaded big cleanups. So there you have it, 12 simple, effective ways to keep your space organized without the stress. Decluttering doesn't have to be a massive, overwhelming task. By making small changes and creating daily habits, you'll find that keeping your home tidy becomes much easier and more sustainable. If you're ready to take the first step, start by picking just one of these tips and putting it into action today. It's amazing how even small actions can create a big difference over time. Remember, the goal isn't perfection. It's creating a home that feels calm and manageable no matter how busy life gets. With these tips, you'll be able to maintain a space that works for you, not against you. Thank you so much for watching. If you found these tips helpful, please give the video a thumbs up, share it with anyone who could use some decluttering inspiration, and don't forget to subscribe for more practical tips on keeping your home organized.